Good morning. I'm Alan Lanham. I'm Dean of Library Services here, and it's a pleasure to welcome you back to Booth Library, or to Booth Library, for the next session of our Symposium on Ancient Greece. As you will notice in your program, we have several more opportunities this afternoon and tomorrow, most all day tomorrow, including the evening, and then there are several more in the week to come before this closes on the 7th of November. So I encourage you to study your programs and see what other topics you may be interested in or would like to learn a little bit about. We appreciate your attendance here, and we are happy that we're featuring one of Eastern's students today. And Dr. Wafik Wabi from the School of Technology will introduce him.
Thank you, Dean Lanham. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this special session of Ancient Greece Symposium. It's actually, the longer name is A Futuristic Look Through Ancient Lenses. So we're trying to look into the future while we are standing in at present using ancient lenses. If you are confused by now, but I'm sure you know what we try to do with this symposium. Andy Brachear is one of my best, should I call friends? Because I tell my students, you are my friend, not my students or anything else. Wafik is my name, and Wafik, the meaning of my name is friend. So I start my classes by saying, you are my friend. And I extend my hand in friendship, and I tell them, if you shake my hand back and become my friend, it will be a pleasure to me. He did that, and he became my friend. Actually, he became my helper also in the class while he was a student, but you name it. If you have a problem with computers or PowerPoints or anything, you just say, okay, with a smile, typical smile, and he can solve this problem. And I looked in the future, and I think he will become Dr. Brachear very soon. So look at his name in the future, and you are today for a treat. Andy Brachear.
Hello, my name is Andy Brachear. I'm acquiring my master's this year in computer technology, and my presentation is over the City of Delphi. In Greece, Delphi is centrally located along the side of Mount Parnassus. This place is the sanctuary of Apollo, and it's where the ancient oracle resides, their chamber. Apollo is the god of music, poetry, sun, medicine, and knowledge. And he was the son of Zeus and Leto. Delphi is located 9.5 miles northeast of the Corinthian Gulf. And the Delphi citizens lived without fear due to the traditions of the oracle. Throughout the year, people came from all over the world to ask the oracle questions. This is the present-day view of Delphi along Mount Parnassus. The future of the city was also determined by Apollo. The residents of Delphi then believed that Apollo spoke through the oracle, and a priest then interpreted the oracle's words. This is a much larger view of the temple today. The location of Delphi is sacred because the ancient Greeks believed that the cave was originally a shrine where Apollo defeated a giant snake and then took over the shrine. According to archaeologist John Hale, the events this occurred because there was a methane gas leak. And if you breathed enough of this methane gas in, a person got high and then said mysterious things. Long before the oracle appeared, there were goat herders that roamed over this break in the earth. And then they noticed their goats were acting kind of funny like. So then the goat herders decided to try it themselves, and then they got high. And then this occurred until their parents intervened. Later, the Temple of Apollo was built over this location. And then they could ask Apollo questions through the oracle. The priestess were then sent down to the shrine to collect the answers to the questions. The scientists are unsure when this exactly started, but it was well before 700 BC and then ended in 600 AD, which means this occurred for over 1,000 years. Another name for the oracle was Pytha. Apollo was believed to speak through this oracle, and the oracle needed to be an honorable older woman selected from the lower class population. The oracle always spoke on a tripod seat over the opening in the fault line. The woman would then be intoxicated by the vapors and then went into a trance-like state. This was portrayed as Apollo taking over their spirit. And then the priests would interpret the riddles spoken. During the process of the Greek oracles, the prophecies were very similar most of the time, since the same questions were asked. In order for the process to work, for people who wanted to ask the questions, they had to come and spend some time at the temple. And since the oracles only spoke once a month, they may be there for at least 3 weeks. Through this time, they were able to ask questions like, shall I get married? But then the priests would kind of know what they were talking about because they would have talked to both parties. And then the oracle would then confirm it, making their money worth their while. Today, scientists have found the fault line with the natural vapors and the gaseous emissions through a sacred spring intoxicating the people who breathe it. The research has found methane and ethane detected in large amounts. This gas has urethane, which causes an anesthetic-like effect that produces euphoria. This stimulates the nervous system and has a sweet smell. Euphoria is defined as an extreme state of happiness. This is a representation of the fault lines. As you can see here in Delphi, there is a fault line that goes right through it. Another part of Delphi is the Correa statues of the Antarctic period in the early 16th century. Leos and Beaton were recognized in history of the Argive stock. This means they are of excellent body strength, lived comfortably, and won prizes for athletic contests. In their honor, there was a festival in the Hirgo of Argos. Even their mother was recognized for having given birth to these 2 sons. Now during the process, usually there's a wagon and a team of oxen that they carried the mother and the 2 sons to town. They were late that day, so the 2 men took it upon themselves to carry the wagon with their mother to make the sacrifice. Since it was a good deed that they did the sacrifice, and at this time, they believed through their God that it was better to die than to live. Once these people were at the temple, they had the sacrifice and had a meal in their honor. Then after, the two brothers went to the temple and went to sleep, and they never woke up again. These 2 statues were then created because they were the best of men. The City and Treasury was built in 530 BC. The construction was of the Ionic style, and it was measured to be 8.9 meters by 6.3 meters. This was then where the offerings were stored for the priest, gods, and goddesses. The treasury was only accessible by select visitors and the administrators who oversaw the building operations. And the material of this building was extracted from a local mine from gold and silver. This picture is actually the Treasury of Athena, which is the only treasury still left standing intact. The charioteer of Delphi was a statue made of bronze casts and is most well known in ancient Greece. The statue was created for a victory of a chariot team in the Delphi Python Games. Scientists are not sure how many horses raced during this time, but they knew it was at least 6 per team.
The charioteer, with a magnificent cry of triumph in honor of a tyrant from faraway Sicily. His horses had won the chariot race, and he wanted the world to know it.
The theater at Delphi was built next to the Temple of Apollo. The theater seated 5,000 people in 35 rows. It was constructed in a valley of the 4th century BC. And this was made up of limestone, and it was remodeled multiple times. This structure allowed people to hear everything being said from the center of the stage, and they didn't even have microphones. The Delphi Stadium was placed even higher than the theater. The stone seats could hold 6,500 people, and it was mostly used for the athletic events in the Python Games. This track was 177.55 meters long by 25.5 meters wide. The ancient Greece Gymnasium of Delphi was discovered in 1898, and it was located next to the Castella Fountain. The buildings in this area were served for the training of the athletes during bad weather. The polygonal wall was built in the second half of the 6th century BC. The wall was built with curved rocks, creating better support for the Temple of Apollo stands. These stones had many engravings and inscriptions.
Everywhere there are inscriptions on the building. So far, scholars have counted more than 3,000 individual texts, and some of them hold hundreds of words. Literally, Delphi was the Greek world's latest book.
Delphi's sacred water supply came from the Castalian spring. Its water was important to the rituals of the oracle, as well as it served as where the priests and the priestess and the temple staff cleaned up here. And anyone wishing to ask the oracle questions were also expected to wash here to purify themselves. The Delphi traditions came to a halt after new leaders were appointed, and they banished the old ways of beliefs. But one final message was sent to the oracle.
In 360 AD, the last pagan emperor Julian sent a question to the oracle back at Delphi. The sources say this is the only response we have seen. Tell the king the fair wrought hall has fallen to the ground. The water of speech even is quenched. The oracle of Delphi had finally fallen silent.
Delphi leaves us with an interesting question. In walking among the old buildings, something happened there a long time ago, and the people of the time believed in the oracle. Was there actually a presence of a spirit? Is it still there? And perhaps one should stop and listen when visiting the area. maybe you'll hear the voice speaking. Are there any questions?
Sure. Lots of questions. Any questions if you like. Yes. One question, please.
I don't want the microphone.
This is for the people. No, no.
Okay, you mentioned that the oracle in Delphi was an older woman and from the lower class, and I want to know why. Followed up with, what happens when she died?
Well, in addition, it was an honorable, so they couldn't have created any murders or crimes or anything. But as far as them dying, they didn't. They just saw it as a natural form of life after the oracle performed their deed by answering the questions. I missed the last part of that question.
Why was she from a lower class as opposed to an upper class person?
Whenever the scientists found the inscriptions, they decided just to choose the lower class. That wasn't a specific reason.
I have a question regarding the inscriptions that were found. Is the same language that they have now, or they could decipher it, they could read it?
Believe by what I've read, it was a little bit of the same thing, but there was more of ancient times.
Okay.
So it kind of modified over time with today's Greek language.
Is it like Chinese language, for example? You read it back then, you can understand it, or like the Hebrew, you can find your way? Or
I believe so, yes.
another question, if you don't have a question yet, any relation with Philadelphia? No, Delphi and Philadelphia? Or
Don't believe so. My readings didn't show anything, didn't mention them being together or any relation. They did go to Athens a lot for protection.
any relation to Jordan in the near Israel and Palestine? There's a city, old city called Delphi or something like that.
Nothing in my readings that either, sorry.
Any other question? Yes.
I have another one. Under Kuros, you said that the two brothers went to the temple to make a sacrifice, but you didn't state why. I mean, was it a monthly thing, a yearly thing, and how much did it cost?
There wasn't specific anything on the cost, but they just made sacrifices so they could feast, like to be like the local herds. Then they would feast upon it.
So they bring animal offerings, is that what you're saying?
It'd be animal offerings, yeah.
This temple was before the time of Plato and Socrates and the others, or after? Do you have any relation time-wise, chronologically?
I believe it was before that time. That's when this occurred. Yeah.
Yes.
On your little clip, I didn't hear, what was the last thing they said?
What's the
Yeah.
like how the downfall is what you're talking about?
The guy on the boat.
The guy on the boat. What did the guy on the boat said that it fell at last or something?
The oracle.
The oracle was silent.
It was
Like he didn't. The oracle didn't say anything, so that was the downfall.
Any other questions? I hope this presentation would open the door for us to just delve more into Delphi. Okay, please give a hand to